Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing this now moment with myself and with one another. If you have not seen these videos before, welcome. And welcome back if you have. My intention is benevolence for all in alignment with the highest levels of love light. Obviously, I am driving my car, so I will not be looking at the camera quite as often as I usually would be. And I'm just going to go into a little flow and kind of see where this leads. I did a video. I've yet to post it. I'll hopefully be posting it later today. Just about some of the energies that I've been feeling, that have been going on, that we've maybe all been feeling. And I get a lot of downloads and activations when I drive, if you haven't seen these videos before. So that's why I like to do these videos in the car, as a lot of us do. And I'm seeing some symbols right now that I'm sure are going to make sense to me later. Light language it is. And as these activations, so to speak, rain down upon you, rain, they allow a swirling of emotions to rise up, a tumultuous celebration, in essence, of a release of an upwelling, an upswelling of emotions that have been stored within the consciousness grids, collective consciousness patterning. A re-emergence, a emergence, if you will, a emergency, and this is all a play on words. I'm seeing a re-emergence of emerging together, of unification, and it's almost like an emergency. It's bringing together this emergency collaboration, this emergency of reunification of what seems like separation. So I want to share, as I'm sharing this, from a very just human standpoint. I'm driving, and I come across people. I'm obviously multitasking, as anybody who talks on the phone and drives, or has children and drives with children in the car, or has somebody else in the car communicating with us, or if somebody's listening to a blog, you guys get my point. What I'm seeing are so many people asleep at the wheel. And what they're kind of showing me is that for those that are asleep at the wheel, I saw this reference to Die Hard, the movie Die Hard. So I see these symbols when I drive. And these people that are asleep at the wheel are just in their own little world. Some are on the phone, not paying attention to anything else that's going on around them. Others are just like that all of the time. I'm seeing it in the grocery store. I'm seeing it everywhere that I go. My point is, there are those human aspects of me that are patient most of the time. Every once in a while, I feel the need to point out to someone that they are being very know if irresponsible is even the right word, but the fact that sometimes we have this, what I'm trying to get across is, and this is a message that's coming through, sometimes we have this idea that we're not allowed to, for example, if someone is doing something that is blatantly obviously wrong in the sense that it's hurting someone else or it's causing other people difficulty and problems, there is that need for many people to say something, because if we don't speak up, then we're not speaking our truth from one perspective, right? We're not speaking our truth, yet we are being invited to do it from a layer of patience and understanding. Because there truly are so many people asleep at the wheel that there's a layer of things going on. There's that layer of I don't know if the right word is impatience, right? When are people going to wake up? And you guys, I see driving, I see, it's not like, driving is a representation of life. You know, movement patterns can be a representation of life. Where are we stuck? Where are we continuing to not, what are we continuing to not, you know, give our bodies? What are we continuing to feed our bodies? And so on and so forth. So what I see is there is this level of impatience that is coming up. And I'm constantly being invited by my ego and to recognize, am I speaking my truth? You know, it is as way showers, as teachers, to be responsible in our response and try to do it with compassion, because some people just are asleep and that's how they're going to be. The question is, how compassionate can we be? And it does not mean that if somebody pulls out in front of me and almost hits me, I'm not going to honk at them to make them aware of their surroundings. Because that would be, you know, sometimes people do it and they don't even realize that there's other people around them. You guys get where I'm going with this. I'm using this as an analogy because I'm seeing this as a mirror of what's going on collectively and also within me. Sometimes I am in my own little world and I don't always recognize the impact that I'm having on those around me. And that's when I sometimes require, so to speak, or can use the assistance and guidance from another light worker, co-worker, whoever it might be, to say, hey, guess what? You are not necessarily being very awake right now. So we can help each other out. Sometimes we have expectations about our other light worker, or excuse me, our other human co-creative collaborators, expecting them to be on the same page as us, expecting them to understand what it is that we're talking about or where we're coming from. And this comes back to one of the very beginning messages that I started talking about, besides non-judgment, patience, compassion, and letting go of expectations of what other people should be doing, saying, thinking. Because yes, we have high hopes in some regards that people will naturally someday just go, oh, a light bulb will go off. But it isn't always going to be the case. So it's okay to speak our truth, and from a non-judgmental way. So they're asking me to go a little deeper into this. Okay. Taking a deep breath, going into the heart space and asking ourselves, what is it in this situation? What is it that this person is showing me? If they're showing me where I need to be more patient, then sometimes it means not saying anything. Are they showing me now that I need to speak my truth and not get stepped all over? Boundaries? Or am I stepping into someone else's space? If I were to say something to this person right now, is that stepping beyond my boundaries? Am I speaking my truth, but is that relevant to the situation? So these are all just different questions that we're being invited to ask ourselves. In the coming days, in the coming waves, there are many coming waves, incoming waves that will rattle the cages, that will rattle and shake free the loose change. The change is on the loose. I'm seeing like fires again, and I'm seeing layers being revealed underneath, like new skin. So there's going to be, according to what I'm seeing, a lot of sensitivity. So fire makes people feel sensitive, and everything is hot. And I'm seeing like the poker stick. I'm seeing people being prodded and poked. And this prodding and poking and this building heat is requiring people to become uncomfortable, so that so that healing can occur, so that the rain can wash away all of the sorrows, is what I'm hearing. And this is all, I'm seeing references to sevens. I'm seeing references to gorillas in the mist, silverback. I'm seeing references to something kind of funny, which I'll get to in a moment. But I'm seeing that this fire is shaking things up. The rain is coming to wash away and cleanse everything. But again, it's like sorrow is a play on words. And so I've been meaning to go back and really kind of analyze all of the videos that I've done, because there's been a lot of synchronicities that are coming up, that have been coming up. You guys, I'm just laughing because I was at a stoplight and in front of me, I could make this stuff up, but I'm not. It's like so funny. It's zombie response team. It's somebody with like a bumper sticker that says they're part of the zombie response team. And I was just talking about how people are so asleep. There are so many zombies out there, and we are helping to respond to assist people in waking up. And sometimes that requires care and patience and understanding, but also recognizing, how do you kill a zombie, right? How do you wake a zombie up? Fire. I guess there's lots of ways. I won't get into you zombie experts that are out there, but we know that fire is usually one way. Or anyways, the point is, let's get a little uncomfortable. Let's wake up. And there's going to be things that flare up, like our I don't even like to use the word ego, because ego isn't necessarily a bad word, but people do associate it with a bad word. But it's waking up things that we might have felt puffed up about before, right? So it's like, well, I'm not sensitive, I'm very stable, or I am, don't call me weak, or opposite, I'm a sensitive flower. I mean, whatever it is that is imbalanced in people, or is not stable, because some of it's fake. So again, I made this message before about how sometimes you'll see a display in a grocery store, and it's a bunch of empty boxes. It looks like there's thousands of bottles of whatever liquor is on display, for example. But then you
It's a house of cards. So the question then becomes for us, what is it that we've built our house of cards on? Has it been a story? What story have we been telling ourselves that no longer balances out or harmonizes with who it is that we really are, who it is we really want to be, we see ourselves becoming, that we are becoming, all of the above, right? And so people are going to see more and more of that reflected back to them, but also us. I'm going back to the story about the person who I'm speaking my truth about, somebody being very blatantly asleep and literally putting somebody else on the road in danger, or myself in danger. There comes this point where I am responsible. I've taken on that responsibility for making that person aware. That doesn't mean I'm yelling at them to wake up and calling them a jerk for not waking up, or making fun of whatever it is that they're going through, or judging whatever that it is they're going through. They might go, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize that you were there. Well, now you know. So moving forward, you know, I did my job. I did my best to try to get them to see that, whatever it is. And in doing that, it helped balance out my own awareness as well as their awareness. So we could go into so many layers here. There's a lot of layers. Sorry about the shaking on my phone, guys. Again. Anyways, so having said that, I'm also seeing this reference to this is alchemy. This is transformation to help to burn out the burnouts, smoke out what is not in alignment, in alliance, in alliance. And they're kind of showing me as well that I'm hearing reference to Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper. This is a death and rebirth, if you want to call it that. It's a birthing process. And sometimes what doesn't fit through the birth canal has to go. It's got to go. That newfound awareness can heighten our sensitivities, but that also requires a certain amount of responsibility to realize our sense abilities. And they're playing with, I could go into so many different layers here. I also saw a reference to Die Hard. Like, what is it? There's an old saying, I can't remember what it is right now, but basically, I'm going to pause this for a minute. Okay, so I'm seeing this reference to Die Hard, and what were there, like 7 or 8 Die Hards? It's like, how hard do we want to make this? What are we on? You know, what episode are we on? I'm seeing it's Old Habits Die Hard, and sometimes that being asleep, it's like that's what people have decided to do. That is their own journey. On the flip side, that doesn't mean we have to continue to play that game. That doesn't mean we have to fall into that habit pattern of, well, I guess life is always going to be hard, or I guess I have to learn the hard way. Do we? We've already learned the hard way. We've already had hard times. We've had so many things. Let's recognize from what my guides are showing me is let that stuff go. And they want me to play with Die Hard. I have not seen Die Hard enough to recognize a lot about it, but they're kind of showing that there was always the same theme. I guess maybe the same theme involved, and the good guy usually wins, but of course all this chaos has to erupt before the full expression comes in the movie, and it's all part of the movie, it's all part of the plot is what I'm hearing, but recognize that it is all part of the movie. You know, it's like we know what Bruce Willis's character is all about. We know what the other characters are all about. So are we going to do another sequel? Are we going to do another, is that they're called sequels? They're asking me to play with that.
And they're saying that they're flares. So they're wanting me to just go into a little bit about the flares. You guys, for those of you who haven't seen these videos before, I'm talking about my higher self. Our higher selves are really connecting with us right now. I'm going to pause this just for a second. Okay, I'm at a stoplight. So I'm on like a little bit of a tangent right now. I'm seeing several different messages. One of them is, this is all from my higher self, the higher versions of me, these messages that are coming through. They also wanted to share that it also recognize there's different forms of zombies. So playing with that and recognizing that some zombies are mean, some are asleep, some are angry. I don't know. It's just they're trying to point out that people are waking up in their own way, and sometimes it causes that fire to light up to get that awakeness to happen. And they're showing me that fire has, okay, there's lots of layers here. One of the layers is that we're having a lot of solar activity, and this solar activity from the sun is highlighting things for people. And I'm going back to the ego a little bit, but that doesn't mean that it's all bad. In fact, none of it's bad. If we choose to take it as such, then that's part of the being asleep, and recognizing that this is an opportunity for us to grow, to wake up, and to essentially expand. Okay. There is a lot of hostility, essentially, that people are feeling, because as these fires flare up, it's not just about, wow, I'm seeing like a total symbol. My mind is being blown right now. I have to pause. I'm just laughing because as I'm talking about this, I see a sign that says dry out, and it's literally a sun flame, like literally it's fire. It's got a little bit of like this yin and yang sign and a water droplet. And I've been thinking about rain and the sun, the solar flares. I'm talking about fire and alchemy. And it's talking about like disaster. So, okay. One of the layers that's being shared with me, not just now, but that's been the last couple of days, is through disaster comes togetherness. Sometimes it requires people being pulled out of their reverie, being pulled out of their zombie, being pulled, or things that are seemingly negative being magnetized, so that people can come together and find the heart coherence, find the compassion, and get out of hostility. Sometimes it takes something. That symbol is just boggles my mind. So I'm parked. I'm just going to share. So basically what happens is sometimes it takes these disasters, right, to bring people together. And it's not that that would be the case all of the time, but that's what it takes sometimes in this polarity, in this type of world that we're living in, or that we have been living in. And so what happens is people get in such a feeling of hostility, it's almost like there needs to be something to shake them out of that hostility. And the only thing that can bring compassion is something else besides the hostility driven messages, or whatever you might want to call it. And so there is this element of I'm laughing because I got distracted by a bee. Squirrel. So there's a lot going on. We're being invited to be in compassion. This fire is actually cleaning up. So what happens is we put out the flames and cleanse all that is being transmuted, transformed, and we digest all of that, and it brings this sense of to the masses is essentially what I'm hearing. And that's kind of what we're going through right now, again and again and again. And some of us are in that stage of the water, and we're in that stage of, wow, this feels really good. I'm in this great space because I'm accepting what's going on. Going back to what I was seeing, I do see a lot of things coming up for me very quickly that are presented to me in such a way to show me, okay, Carrie, so how are you going to respond to this? And then I have it presented. I recognize if I responded in ego or if I could have handled it differently, and I adjust it a lot faster than I used to. And I also let it go a lot faster. If I have did something that I wasn't 100% in my highest alignment, I realize it, and then I will do something generally the next day to balance it out, so to speak. And I know that sounds a little bit old energy or 3D, but there is that element of 3D still. As light workers, we're oscillating in and out of these dimensional shifts. And so there are moments where just because I am aware and I am awake, that doesn't mean that there aren't things that come up to show me what I'm still detoxing, or to show me what I'm still releasing or transmuting, or so much that I could go on. And I think you guys maybe know where I'm going with this. So I could share a lot more. I would like to sit down and draw that symbol, because it was so ironic that I was seeing the symbol of the fire and the water and the sun, because we have these solar flares. They're stirring the pot. People are feeling anxiety from the heart palpitations that are sometimes associated with these solar flares. And I was just having a conversation with someone about that today. I still get the heart palpitations. There are people with heart issues that those are being stirred up even more. And there are those people that don't know how to relax, or they're so asleep that they think they're relaxed and they're really not, or they're awake and they don't know how to relax. It doesn't matter. Everybody's in their own stage of development. So when we get these bursts, it's important just to come back to compassion for ourselves, what we're experiencing, to acknowledge what we're going through, to speak our truth, yet not overstep our boundaries, to come from a place of balance and harmony. And once we